It's week 32 of the golfing calendar, and this is the most listened to Australian golf podcast, Talk Birdie to Me. And we'd love you to support our partners because they support us and we love them. Ping. They'll help you play your best. There's a reason why so many tour pros only use Ping. You can see your local golf shop or professional and arrange a Ping Club fitting. The new Watch My Numbers app. This is the most powerful database golf app in the world. Download from the App Store or Google Play, and you'll be playing smarter by using your data. And the Golf Clearance Outlet. They're in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Perth, and online, and check out their new membership club, GCO Live. It is fantastic. Now, former world number 16 Nick O'Hearn and former tour pro Mark Allen. This is Talk Birdie to Me.
Now, I got a bit of house cleaning right off the top, please, if you don't mind.
House cleaning.
Cleaning.
Okay.
What did I say?
Cleaning.
Yeah.
I thought housekeeping.
I was given this by a bloke called Brian Meldrum. Brian Meldrum was the golf writer at the Herald Sun once upon a time when golf was big in the Herald Sun. He used to have a page every single week in the Herald Sun.
Was he Molly's?
Yeah, he is.
Brother?
That's right. Yeah.
I know, Brian. Yeah.
So, 90-year-old Ken Chandler was 18 when he joined Huntingdale Golf Club in 1951 and played in the club's junior VGA winning pennant side in 1955. He's been a stalwart at the club across more than 7 decades and has shot his age on a number of occasions. In last Saturday's Stableford competition, playing off 18, he's 90, remember? He did it again in spectacular style. His front nine score of 19 points included a wipe and 2 birdies. He had 2 birdies as a 90-year-old on the front nine. While on the back nine, he shot 4 over off the stick for 23 points to finish with 42 points and an off-the-stick score of 84.
Wow.
He is a legend.
That is incredible.
That was Brian Meldrum adding he's a legend, but I'm going to add it as well.
Absolutely.
You are a legend, Ken Chandler.
Which course was this again, sorry?
Huntingdale.
It was at Huntingdale,
Yeah,
okay.
so they're playing a 9-9 situation at the moment. But he won the comp.
I wonder how many times he has broken his age. There must be a world record, although self-proclaimed, Gary Player always says he's broken his age the most amount of times.
Every week he breaks his age. Yeah. Every week.
Every day, I think, yeah. Oh, did you see, by the way, in the news,
Yes.
his 1974 Claret Jug replica, where he won the Open Championship at Royal Lytham, was sold.
Did he
without
sell
his consent,
I was going to say, why would he sell it? He's worth $1 billion.
Well, I think a few years ago he had a bit of an issue with his son Mark, and he has this company called Black Knight Enterprises.
Right.
And they, I guess, had some family feud or whatever it was, and Mark ended up taking the Black Knight name and all that, and Gary, I guess, now just rides under his own name. I have no idea how all that works, but apparently Gary said, no, I did not give authorization for this to be sold. It sold for $480,000, thank you very much.
My God.
So anyway, that was the famous one where he's up against the wall, the clubhouse. You remember that?
Well, if you got to sell one, that's the one you'd sell.
True.
One more little piece of housekeeping before we get into it. And this comes from Alex Stewart, who listens to the pod every single week.
Oh, he's an English cricket captain, wasn't he?
He says, hi, boys. This is Alex Stewart. I love your podcasts with Nick and all the great stories that pop up each week. A match where a hole was halved in hole-in-ones happened over 40 years ago as well.
Oh, you're kidding.
So he was listening and he sent me this little snippet from the news. It happened in the 1980s and it happened at a golf course. It happened in 1982 in a singles match. It was LD Henshaw holding one and J.A. Wilson followed him in for the perfect hole. And this was a long time ago.
Gosh.
Anyway.
Yeah, we had the one at Sun City about... was it a month or two ago, I think, Dan?
Yeah.
The guys?
Maybe 3 weeks ago.
In a pennant match, yeah. Incredible.
So, look, if you want to get in touch with our socials, if you know somebody who repeatedly shoots their age, I think that's the greatest thing in golf.
I'll just ring my dad.
He does it all the time, does he?
Well, he's done it a few times. What is my old man now? I think he's about 82 and he plays off around, I think he might have gone out a bit. He might be off for 12-ish now, but he had his handicap under his age for a long time.
Yeah, okay. So if you've got someone who shoots his age and needs a shout out every once in a while, get in touch with our socials or leave a message at talkbirdietome.com.au.
Very nice.
And also, if you've had a hole in one that is worth noting, let us know.
Oh, we love that.
They're great parts of golf. Holes in one and shooting your age.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned Huntingdale before. I drove past Huntingdale yesterday.
How's it looking?
You know how when we were there it was a construction zone?
Yeah.
Well, it's still a construction zone, but it's starting to take shape.
Yes.
It's starting to look really, really good.
Well, I was told a couple of weeks ago by a couple of blokes who ought to know that Huntingdale once upon a time tried to be metropolitan, planting so many trees because Metro was very famous for its tree lines, which were beautiful, magnificent. And Huntingdale tried to copy and they overplanted. But Michael Cocking's gone down there and has taken away all the trees that were planted in front of other trees, and now Huntingdale Golf Club just has feature tree after feature tree after feature tree on the back nine, and it is all set to go. So I cannot wait to get to Huntingdale. It's going to be great when it's done.
Looking good. Speaking of looking good, you know something different about Nick?
He's wearing another Cutter and Buck jacket.
Yes.
How many do you get a week from this mob? It's a joke.
They did give me a good supply at the beginning, and throughout winter, they have been fantastic. It keeps me so... You know what I'm waiting for is the summer, because the summer gear as well is spectacular.
Have a listen. Ching.
It's a nice jacket. It's a good jacket.
Yeah, it's good.
He took one Cutterback jacket off, and then you just...
there was another one.
There was another one.
Well, it's ridiculous.
It's cold outside. I've got layers. You know all about layers, the style guru that you are, Mark. Come on.
I'll tell you what, who was not a style guru, Scottie Scheffler, the Olympic champion. Did you see the outfits the American team was wearing? Is that Lindenberg mob, Jay Lindenberg?
Yeah.
That someone's got to stop this mob.
Was it like the Aussie one? Because the Aussie one didn't look that great either, to be honest.
No, it was navy blue pants with the
I know
red
the
and white
colours are going to be
stripe.
different.
With the red and white
I
stripe.
saw that, yeah.
And
It was like the prison stripe.
the Jay Lindenberg gear, and he got the big patches underneath the arms. They just look terrible.
Yeah, it's a tough one for the golfers when you get in the national uniforms. But didn't he play a round of golf though? Came home in 6 under 29, I believe,
to win a gold medal.
To win a gold medal from Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah, I didn't see a shot. Still haven't seen a shot.
I watched some of the highlights. It was a fascinating final day. You had Xander, Schauffele, and John Rahm tied for the lead going into the final round, and Xander laid a bit of an egg. He shot 73, which is 2 over on this golf course. I think Rahm shot 1 under. Yeah. But Scotty birdied the first 3, then went a bit cold for a while, and then on the back 9 he birdied 10 and 12, and then he birdied, I think it was 4 in a row from the 14th, and made a really nice par putt on 18.
So the big question is, Xander Schauffele,
Schauffele.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Xander was an out-and-out certainty to become
Player
the golfer of the year. But now, Scheffler, not only has he won the Masters, but he's won a gold medal. Now, in my book, that doesn't matter too much. It's new.
I know how you feel about golf in the Olympics.
No, I'm not a big fan of golf in the Olympics. I'm happy to talk about it. And by the way, just because I don't think it's any good, I don't think that means it's out of the Olympics. It's up to everybody. It's not my decision.
Oh, I'm glad you clarified that because
I
just thought that your view was going to derive the LA Olympics decision.
Some people might go the other way, but,
Do you know where they're playing the Olympics in LA in
LA
4
Country
years'
Club?
time? No. Where's the other really good one?
Oh, your mates.
No, not my mates.
No. Bel Air?
Riviera.
Oh, Riviera. Okay.
That's going to be a good one.
I would have loved to have seen Bel Air.
Yeah, it would have been good.
I would have loved to have seen that joint. All right. Well, Riviera, it's a ripper. It's a ripper as well. But I'm still giving it to Xander. I don't think the gold medal has enough weight as yet.
So I would, yes, that last bit you put in there as yet. I think history maybe in 20 or 30 years' time will show the gold medal means a hell of a lot. And it's probably, if we're thinking 30 years' time, if we look back on now, you'd go, who was player of the year? You'd probably give it to Scotty. Whereas right now, I think 2 majors carries a little more weight just because golf hasn't been in the Olympics that long. But give it time, and I think it'll have that prestige and honour.
Yes, but not enough prestige to grab your attention yet. You only watch the highlights and see this.
I wasn't getting up at 12 at
that's right.
1 o'clock in the morning
just to watch golf in the Olympics.
No, I don't even do that at the majors.
I'm exactly the same.
Oh, come on.
I'm exactly the same. Now I know that before these microphones are switched on, the three of us, we all love sport.
We do,
and quite often we talk about other things. The Olympics have been so good.
Incredible.
I've never enjoyed the Olympics more, but I've found myself switching over at night time in the golf side, and I switch straight back to the long jump, or I switch straight back to the boxing. I'll switch back to anything.
I'm the same.
But golf.
Well, because we watch golf week in, week out.
Yeah,
we don't get to see any of these other sports. And as to your point, Dan, actually, my wife Alana agreed with you from last week's podcast. She said, I think Dan's right. It should be an Olympic sport should be, if it's the pinnacle of their sport,
Correct.
should become an Olympic event. Sorry.
That's it.
Now, I think there's a little grey area there with that, but watching these other people, you think they've trained 4 years for this, whereas in golf, we see it every week, obviously. So, yeah, I've loved it as well. I'm cheering for things I never cheer for normally, so it's been brilliant.
It was interesting watching the heats of one of the 100-metre men's finals the other night, a couple of nights ago, and it was the very first heat, and this bloke broke early.
The Englishman.
Got
Yeah, watched
DQ'd.
it. Yeah.
And I was thinking, that is just heartbreaking. Yeah, this guy trains for 4 years for the Olympics, and he gets DQ'd because he breaks just a nanosecond early.
He didn't want to go either, and I wouldn't have wanted to go tough either.
That's his number one too. A lot of these guys, like the bloke Noah Lyle who won the 100, the 200 is his event. He's going to win that by a mile.
Yes.
I've gone early there, but he's going to win it by a mile. So say most people, most good judges.
Doesn't lack confidence, does he?
That guy, the drama involved in a break. In just, here you are, 4 years worth. Sure, you've done the world championships along the way, but this is really what it's all about. To have to walk off that track.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Incredible. I don't care about the golf on the other channel. I don't care about it. I'm watching that.
Yeah.
But I think with the swimmers, if you break early, you get another go.
No, I think that's changed too.
Oh, has it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're out.
Really?
Yeah, you're out. No breaking anymore.
Well, I understand that because they were using that to their advantage to try and
I think
start.
on the track they check the tape. Now, if they see somebody's hand go like that, like someone's trying to put the other person off,
instability,
you'll get a second chance.
That's fair.
But if you've just broken, you're out.
You're gone.
So one of my wife's best friends, and she's been recording it overnight, getting up at about 6 a.m.
And watching the
and
whole
then
lot.
watching it, not going online, not watching TV news, not just the radio, and watching it as live till about 1 p.m, and she is loving it.
Did she watch the golf?
I
No.
don't think she would have watched the golf.
I don't think so.
I'll say this. There were two golfers playing who loved the fact that golf was at the Olympics, and that was the Koreans.
Yeah, now explain the story why, because not many people get this.
Tom Kim and Ben Ahn. The Koreans, if they medal at the Olympic Games, they now don't have to serve 2 years military service.
2 years.
And the Olympics isn't their only chance. I think they get the Asian Games as well if they medal there.
What about if he wins the Masters or something like that? I mean, does he still have to go and fire shots at somebody for a while?
That's a good question. Is a major... Yeah, maybe. It could be a major gets you off as well. I don't know. I don't know what... Oh, Wai Yang, he would have already served his military service, I imagine.
Surely if you're in a team or if you're making $1 million a year, or there's got to be another qualification for these kids.
There's no exception because there was... I read some stories about some famous young... musician who was like he was just top of the pops. He had to go. The guy who did Gangnam Style, what was his name? Psy. He had to go do it.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Yeah, it was quite fascinating.
But you know golf like I know golf. 2 years away from the game.
Oh, it's huge.
Is enormous. I mean, you could have your spine just stiffen up a little bit, and then all of a sudden you've got to make compensations for that spine stiffening up, and then all of a sudden your swing's out, and now instead of hitting 15 greens around, you're hitting 12, and now you're gone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a couple of players who were kind of up-and-coming superstars. There was Sangmoon Bae, who played President's Cup in 2015, then had to go to military service. He's never really come back. He's played a couple of years on and off the tour, but he's never been the same. And then the other guy, our mate Korean Karaoke, Song You'll Know.
Yes.
He's
a great.
That's a great
nickname.
It's a great
nickname.
He was the same. I think back in 2017 or 18, he had to go do it. And again, haven't really heard much of him since.
Gone. So it's huge. And the pictures of them afterwards when they'd just missed out or, they'd signed their card and they knew they were gone. Yeah. I mean, they really were kicking Coke cans out of the place.
Tom Kim, he was in tears in the scorers. He finished 8th. So he had a chance if he went he had to go really low the final round, but he knew that this one has gotten away. Now, he's only young, so he'll get more chances. I think LA, he'll still be okay because he's still only, 19 or 20? It's around the mid-20s where they have to go do this military service.
Are they allowed to hit a few balls during military training for a couple of years? Can they build them? Can they take a little putting mat in with them and get a little putting mat going? And keep their stroke
who knows?
half decent, or
Give them a desk job or something. I don't know.
gee
Not sure
whiz.
how it works.
Imagine if you
So-
got a finger shot off or something like that. I mean, here you are, Tom Kim. I mean, he is an elite player for his age, not for the PGA Tour, but for his age.
Incredible.
He's 20. What is he? 21 or 22?
He's not even that. I think he could be 21.
So he's probably the best young player in the world.
At the moment, he is.
Probably.
Yep, absolutely.
And they're just going to hook him off and put a rifle over his shoulder and say, listen, good luck, son. Hopefully, you'll be all right. You'll be able to get back out there soon. It just doesn't work like that.
No.
What about even the PGA Tour regulations? I mean, if you go missing for 2 years, is it like you get a sick pass or something and you can
Medical
come back
exemption, basically.
Can you get-
I would imagine they have those categories in place for those guys. You would have to think that they go, right, look, I'm going to be away for 2 years. When I come back, do they have the same status? Probably not, but they should get starts. They should get some sort of a major medical, basically. But
You should be able to pay your way out of it.
they need to create some sort of separate category or something like that for them. But
Here we are talking about Korean politics.
I know.
We're going well.
Yeah.
I say we're experts in everything, folks. There's no doubt about it.
But you talk about unbelievable young players. How about Kyle Phillips?
Oh, please.
Winning on the Corn Ferry Tour.
Now-
what a story this has been.
What a story. Left Australia a long time ago. His father used to contact me. They were unhappy with the way things were tracking for him off the course with funding and things. And I get that. So a decision was made very early.
How old was he then?
I'm going to say he was 12 or 13.
Wow. Okay.
Is my guess.
I heard he was the youngest pennant player here in Victoria for Southern at the age of 9 or something like that.
Yeah, amazing.
That's incredible.
There's actually, you could probably look it up on YouTube. I think there's video footage of him on YouTube.
Wow.
And he's literally 9 years old and flushing it. And I think he won the match. Might have been junior pennant, but still he won the match.
Impressive.
Junior pennant's under 21, folks, if you're from another state, other than Victoria. So, look, he had this amazing talent. His dad, was a sporting dad, looking over the kid and prodigious talent. We all knew that. Wasn't exactly happy. He wasn't throwing the toys out of the cot.
Was he not getting the support or?
He felt like Carl's ability needed more support.
But he's 12. I mean,
That's right.
Yeah.
That was my advice at the time, Nick.
Just let him enjoy the game.
My advice at the time was get him playing footy.
Yes,
Multi-sports.
multi-sports.
Make sure he plays cricket. If he's not playing cricket, get him to play basketball. Do some other stuff and push through. And believe me, by the time he's 14 or 15, he'll be looked after.
Right.
Now, that advice wasn't listened to. That's fine.
So he
By
went
the way,
to.
it's going well for
It's
him.
going okay.
So don't worry about
So he went to
not
America?
dirty. So he ended up going to America and went and played high school golf first. And then I think there was a school in Florida.
Yeah, the Saddlebrook Academy. I saw that.
That's it. And he ended up there.
Sounds like it's one of those sort of Bollettieri tennis type academies,
it's like
right?
what
But a
Jason
golfing
Day went
version.
to and Adam Scott. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
the Queensland one. Call them better.
Okay.
Someone will know. Send it through. Send it through. If you've been there, Stephen Bowditch went there as well.
Right.
So there's a high school up there in Queensland. They do their schooling
Right.
early. They practice golf late. Same sort of thing where Carl went, and then Stanford, of course, picked him up.
Pretty good school.
He
right?
almost
Someone by the name of Tiger went there.
Yeah, it's a bloody good school.
Unbelievable.
It's about $60,000 US a year for board and tuition, folks. I mean, it's a big scholarship to win.
That
Anyway,
is a huge scholarship.
He won that scholarship, and he just missed out on the Ludwig Oberg exemption onto the PGA Tour, didn't he?
Yes.
He finished about 4th or 5th, so
Well,
he wasn't far off.
I think he won one of his last college events, which got him into the top 10. He finished 10th, and what that gave him was fully exempt status. They have a category 6 to 10 on the university rankings. Gives you fully exempt status into the PGA Tour of Americas, and it gives you conditional in the Corn Ferry Tour.
Yeah.
So he got starts on the Corn Ferry Tour. And on that tour, as we've been following him, if you're top 25, you get into the next event. So his first event, he finished tied 13th. Then he was tied 15th. Last week, he finished 2nd.
Yeah.
And he's moving up the rankings. And now this week, he played in Utah. What was the name of the golf course there? I think it was Hillcrest. I think I might have played this event.
Yeah.
I might have played this golf course at altitude. You know how far he averaged off the tee?
Well, if it's at altitude,
And he's a long hitter.
I'm going to say 320 yards.
At another 20.
No way.
340 was the stat I saw.
So what, are we adding 10% at this altitude?
Close to,
Hillcrest?
yeah.
All right,
so he's probably around
310
3.
still
That's
monstrous.
he's a long hitter, this young boy.
that's huge.
That is huge. But he shot a tournament record 25 under, And it's an unbelievable performance for him, just incredible.
Did you ever think about? I mean, I shouldn't be asking you because you turned pro and you're off 4. So you're
I wasn't good enough to go to college.
Yeah, that's right. Did you ever think about it?
No, because I didn't really know about it. This was in the late 80s, and no one ever mentioned the word college golf to me. Mainly because I wasn't a standout. I think maybe some of the state players would have heard about it, but I think it might have been more of an East Coast thing, and that's why you went across, right? In the late 80s, who put you onto it?
Well, it was a fluke. So Steve Long, who was, if you're an old timer, you'd remember Colin Long. He used to play Davis Cup for Australia many moons ago.
Okay. If
you watched Wide World of Sport on Channel 7, he was the guy who used to do all the golf stuff. So people had come in. I remember Tommy Nakajima coming into Wide World of Sport and hitting plastic golf balls into a net.
Wow.
And Colin Long would stand there asking him questions about his golf swing to his interpreter, and the interpreter would fire back the questions, and Tommy would, go get his 5-wood out. And, they literally had you think about this, back in the 80s, they didn't have golf mats back. They had a front door mat. They literally had a front door mat that they were hitting golf balls off. Into a net on TV.
That is awesome.
And that was a segment.
Yep.
Anyway, one day he was a Kingston Heath member. I had nothing to do with Steve back then, but the Texas Tech golf coach came past and was playing all the golf courses in the Sandbelt way back in the 70s. He needed someone to play with. Steve was hanging around the pro shop, so the club pros sent him out there with the coach of Texas Tech. The coach liked him, liked his game, and said, I'll give you a scholarship. And Steve goes, oh, yeah, no worries. And heard nothing for 6 months. And then a letter arrived on the front door 6 months later. Didn't hear a thing.
Right.
So Steve Long was the first ever Australian to go over.
Really?
By a scholarship. And that was like in the 70s or 80s.
What about Steve Elkington?
Steve, much later.
Later, was it?
Yeah, Steve was the first. So then, there was a few before that as well. Steve Elkington was over there. I know Adam Scott went to UNLV. John Wade was at University of Houston when I was already over there. So anyway, in the end, the Texas Tech coach asked Steve, are there any good players back in Australia? I need some good players. And they called the VGA, the Victorian Golf Association. I'd just won 2. They called Ivo Wittens, which is the Open Amateur things.
Said he never won anything, Dan. I don't know.
I was amateur golf. So I was a 16-year-old that just won 2 in a row. And it was the fluke. The phone call turned up at the VGA, a month after I'd won 2 in a row. And before I knew it, I was over there.
You were over there, paving the way for Ludwig.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So is the benefit of doing college golf, going that pathway, is that you play high caliber players more often, more frequently?
Well, I felt like when I came back, I looked at my golf upbringing and I was playing against 3% of the world's best juniors, maybe 2%. I got to America and I was playing against 75 to 80% of the world's best juniors. Week in, week out, semi-professional. I mean, so you go from being I was a 17, 18-year-old amateur to becoming a semi-professional player. I reckon the only 4-round tournament that I played as a kid, where there was just 1 round each day, because there's some amateur tournaments where there's 36 and 36 on the weekend, was the Riversdale Cup. That was it. But all of a sudden, I'm playing in a
week
full
in,
schedule,
full
schedule. And at the start of my college career, because I was a first-year player, before I proved myself, if you played it, you had to qualify to get into a tournament. So if the coach didn't think you were going any good, he'd throw you back in the qualifying. So the pressure is on, because even the Texas Tech scholarship back then was $25,000 a year back in the 80s. So it was enormous. And I remember my coach put pressure on me right from the start. He said, mate, we didn't get you over here to shoot 72s and 73s. We need you to shoot scores. Otherwise, son, you're going to have to pay for your own, your scholarship will go down the tube.
Well,
so you fast learn how to play.
Yeah. And the coach is under pressure because his job's on the line if he doesn't
right.
provide a winning team. So they're actually, it was one of my, I guess, not criticisms, but early on when I was over in the US, I found that a lot of college, or the kids coming out of college, they were really good at scoring, but their technique wasn't quite there because the college coaches are there just trying to get them to shoot the lowest score possible. Right. They really weren't worried about long term.
No one's swing got changed.
So when they came out of college, sometimes for the longevity, they struggled out on tour. Now in Australia, because of our numbers, we have to go for quality. That's why our programs are so good down here, and I think from what I heard, the college program started looking at, okay, how are they going about it with their technical aspects, with the swing and everything, and now they've implemented them into the college system as well, so now they've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, well, look, I see it these days, if you're not one of the elite members of Australian golf, but you've still had access to good teaching while you're in high school, my best example of this is Max Charles.
Mm-hmm.
So Max Charles, I couldn't get him into Texas Tech because Ludwig Aberg took his spot.
Okay.
So we had to get him into a junior college down the road.
Okay.
Which we did. He played well enough at that junior college to end up getting a full ride at Boise State,
Mm-hmm.
and he ended up winning 3 college events. Now Max was the number 7 pennant player at Kingston Heath when he left, like barely getting the game. But he went over there and developed the confidence to do some really extraordinary things as a young amateur from Australia without the pedigree of playing in Australian teams and Victorian teams and all the rest of it. So he kind of cheated past a lot of his contemporaries here in Australia by developing a season and a portfolio of golf that was so far beyond what the kids back here in Australia were playing that he's ended up coming back and become a very good player. So if you don't know much about Max Charles, he missed the playoff for the Asian Amateur Championship at Royal Melbourne by 1 shot. And then at the tour school just recently, I think he shot 68 in the last round. He had a 3-shot lead going into the last round, shot 68 and lost in a playoff to be fully exempt next year. So the kid went from being a beautifully swung the club beautifully,
nice player, yeah,
a nice player to coming back to being
all of a sudden
pretty much better than everybody else.
Just being a bit of an animal on the course and knowing how to score.
Yeah. But see, I think what you said is exactly right. Our guys focus on swing and to get that right. But if you've got your swing in a pretty good place as a 17-year-old, but you're not getting the overseas trips or you're not getting the interstate trips, geez, college golf
is the way to go.
Is your answer, kids out there, or mums and dads, daughters, granddaughters. This is serious because instead of, this is the greatest thing. This is the greatest thing. And I didn't get my degree, but I keep hearing these stories about kids who go to college here in this country and their HECS debt is about $100,000 when they finish. Well, if you're chasing your dream of being a golfer, you can continue to chase that dream and you've got plan B paid for. You will not have any HECS debt after 4.5, 5 years. I think it is the most magnificent thing. And I don't think enough kids, boys and girls, believe me, there's so much room for girls.
Look at all the colleges over there now. They are full of internationals. They're coming from everywhere all over the world to go to college in the US.
And the best news, I took this picture the other day. It flashed up. Here it is. Look at this. So this is a picture in America in the NCAA. They've just given every college in the country permission to have many more scholarships available for each sport. So, for instance, golf, it used to have 4.5 scholarships for men and 4.5 scholarships for women. Now there are 9 for men, so it's been doubled.
Wow.
So there are now, at every college everywhere in the States, there is 9 full scholarships available at every college for boys and girls.
Almost 1,000 colleges over there, by the way.
Yeah, that's even more. Even more. Like, and all the other ones, like basketball. I mean, I think girls there was 2 and there's now up to 15. You look at all. So the NCAA, not only are the best students getting paid now, you can actually get some money. You don't have to get your car like I was getting under the table or anything like that.
Sure.
You can actually get money and be paid to play if you're very, very good. So to me, it just ticks so many boxes.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's still an argument. If you're getting coached here in the Gulf Australia or, the Queensland Institute of Sport or West Australian Institute of Sport, whatever you're doing, and you're elite and you're getting those trips, no worries.
Yep.
But my God, I'd still pop over.
Because they have the Division 1, Division 2, Division 3. So even if you're, maybe like back in my day when I was a 4 handicapper, which is probably equivalent of a scratch marker these days, I don't know, you could probably still get a scholarship into one of the Division 2 or Division 3 colleges.
Yes. Look, I reckon I think Max, when he left, when we got him in, he was off +1.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's not
and
that
Boise
good.
stayed as a Well, he got into a junior college, and then Boise State that's a Division 1 school.
Yeah, Division 1 school. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I think they had Max was playing number 2, and there was a guy from either Sweden or Norway or something like that, and he was a top 30 amateur in the world for the entire time he was there. So you learn from other players as well. I mean, imagine if your kid goes over there and all of a sudden you're having practice rounds with Ludwig Aberg every week.
Not bad, is it? Yeah.
I mean, you end up knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
The voicemail message just went off. I think before we check it, let's have a break, have a party pie. We'll come back and we'll check that voicemail and...
My top 5 stupid sports in the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Golf gets whacked. Okay.
Thanks for listening to Talk Birdie to me, and if you're up for it, we'd love you to subscribe, rate and share the podcast wherever you listen. And thanks to our great partners who make the show possible, Ping, they'll help you play your best, Watch My Numbers, the most powerful database golf app in the world, and the Golf Clearance Outlet. They beat everyone's prices. Now, back to Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
So I did hear the little noise for voicemail.
Okay, let's have a listen to this one here.
You have one new voicemail. New message.
Hey guys, Brad here. Middle-aged, average golfer. Pretty standard, I reckon. Listens to the podcast. Hoping you guys can help me out. Ever since Live Golf Adelaide and being there with my son on the Friday, spending a lot of time at the teammates area, which was essentially the junior activity area, it's been in the back of my mind that it is something that I want to do is a career path. Currently a diesel mechanic, so it's a big change. How would I go about trying to get into some kind of line of work that will point me in the direction that I need to go to be part of the junior program or Golf Australia in some way so that I can at least get my foot in the door? If you guys have any suggestions, let me know.
Well, Bradley, that's a fantastic question.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So, okay, working as a diesel man at the moment and wants to get into junior golf development to help kids like his son move in the right direction. Well, look, I think it'd be at best to be a part-time kind of gig, but it sounds like that might be okay. A little side hustle in junior golf development might be good. I think you'd almost have to start it yourself. You know,
well, I just quickly looked up the PGA website because I know they run 3 different education divisions.
Right.
Okay, and I've just got it right here. They've got the PGA Membership Pathway Program, PGA Institute, and the PGA Academy. Now, these are for development programs, tertiary education, and performance coaching. So that might be something that could be very much of interest for anyone who wants to specialise in a career of like teaching pro, director of golf, game development officer, things like that, high-performance coach, club administrator. There's all these different options. But what he's talking about, I would say go to the PGA website, contact the people there, and they will definitely, easily point you in the right direction.
I reckon your local club will help as well. I mean, if you said you were passionate about getting kids in the golf, if you were there looking after a 9-hole session twice a week or something, or practice sessions, just overseeing it, getting the local PGA professionals to pop along for half an hour and just make sure the kids aren't doing anything silly as far as their swings or chipping or any obvious mistakes, and then you oversee them developing on the golf course. Well, that's something.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd think that to have a situation where you can bring juniors in, and there's a little bit of a revenue stream there, but more importantly, you're developing new members for the club. Yeah, it's probably not a bad thing.
Well, see, I know that my son and daughter are tennis players, and my God, we've spent some money on tennis lessons along the years. And these days, my boy is every second week he gets it's $100 to get a basketball one-on-one lesson. So I'm just putting my parent mind into action here. If I had a 12-year-old and I was working, but I knew my 12-year-old wanted to play golf a lot, I'd happily pay $40 or $50 to make sure that he was looked after on the golf course playing 9 holes a night when I was still at work. So if you had 10 kids twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays playing 9 holes, and they get dropped off after school by mum, dad picks them up at 7:30. They've had 9 holes. They've done some practice. They've done their putting drills. They go home happy. I'd pay $50 for that.
Sure.
Time for the top 5.
Top five, top five, top five.
Right, so I've been watching a lot of the Olympics, and there are some stupid sports in the Olympics that just should not be in there, and for various reasons, okay?
Okay.
So, number one, 3-on-3 basketball. We've already got the boomers
Sorry, is that
and the
number
opals.
5 or is that
That's
number
number
1?
5.
Number 5, okay.
Number 5. The boomers and the opals, that's it.
That I agree on that one. I turned it on the other day and saw the half court and I thought, hang on, what's this? It's all 3-on-3? Yeah, that's
right.
something you do after. No, I'm sure it's very good and everything, but no, I agree. It probably shouldn't be there.
I think it's there because they want kids playing at their local basketball area.
Okay.
And, 3-on-3 is big, but just about local basketball areas too. It wouldn't hurt if the councils put up a net every once in a while and you'll get kids playing. If you put a net up.
You're like a broken record, aren't you?
Well, it's true.
Well, if the Aussies win the 3-on-3, I think it's a fantastic addition.
No, I'm still putting it at number 5. Number 4, I was interested until I saw what the athletes were putting out. And I say athletes very roughly. Skateboarding.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen more people fall off more skateboards in my life. They were hopeless. Hopeless.
Wow. Okay.
Skateboarding, out.
That's tough.
Todd Woodbridge, tennis, out.
Really?
Get it out of the Olympics.
Gosh, yeah, he's not going to be
please.
happy.
I mean,
Matt Everton and John Pearce.
Oh, it's so good to see that.
That's career-changing.
That's lovely for them, but tennis should not be in the Olympics.
Wow.
If you asked any of those tennis, if you asked Mr. Pearce and who was the other one who won?
Matt Ebden.
You said, listen, I'll give you a choice next year. You can win the Wimbledon doubles or you can win a gold medal at the Olympics. Which one do you reckon they'd take?
I don't know.
I think they'd take Wimbledon doubles.
Okay.
I reckon they would too.
Number 2.
The prize money, yeah.
Breakdancing should not be in the Olympics. It is just stupid.
I was a bit surprised when I heard that was in there.
Even kids aren't breakdancing these days. They're not doing that at all.
Maybe it's a lot of 40, 50-year-olds who used to do it back in the 80s and 90s.
And the number one sport that should not be in the Olympics, in my opinion, is golf. Please.
Wow. Okay.
Get it out of there.
Yeah, I agree.
Get it out of there.
While you were talking, I was just Googling weird Olympic sports.
Oh, yeah. What else?
And there's a top 10 list, and this is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
the number 1 was a test event, ironically, in Paris in the Olympics in 1900. So it was a test event meant that it didn't have full Olympic status, but it's like half Olympic status.
Yeah.
And I'm not making this up.
Golf.
Poodle clipping.
It was
Oh,
not.
my goodness.
It is not. Oh,
Poodle.
my God, it
It was
is.
a test event.
Poodle clipping.
Wonder how the test went. Was it a time thing or was it the degree of difficulty style judging?
Okay,
Or how did that work?
Okay, well, I'll tell you. Hang on. It involved 128 competitors performing in front of a crowd of 6,000.
6,000.
They had to clip the fur off as many poodles as they could in 2 hours.
Let's have sheep shearing in there
Oh
as
my
well.
God. So they would have had to get 1,000 poodles just sitting out the back, getting dragged in by the throat. And
You reckon they had a
sliced up.
couple of ring-ins, like Shih Tzu poodles or something? Or?
Hang on. This is a golf podcast, right? Yeah, it is.
Apparently. Yeah, wouldn't you love to hear that as you're coming down for your gold medal? But instead they're playing the national anthem, I suppose. We had the men's golf Olympics, which obviously, Mark, you don't think should be in there. We've got the women's this week, by the way.
You know what could have been in there? A bunker competition. Just who can hit it the closest from all kinds of different distances. Now, that would have been
Fancy
good.
your chances in that, don't you?
I would have been a 10-time Olympic gold medalist.
Yes. Well, Scottie Scheffler, world number 1, gets the gold over Tommy Fleetwood from England, who had the silver. He was tied for the lead, but bogeyed 17, unfortunately, but did make a nice 6-footer on the last.
Did I hear you say Scheffler shot 29 on the back?
Yes.
That
6
is
under.
Unbelievable.
29. Not too bad at all. Interestingly, though, if Fleetwood had missed, he would have got into a playoff for the silver and bronze against Hideki, who ended up getting the bronze medal. They don't just split silvers or anything. They got to go into a playoff for it. So that would have been fascinating.
Yeah, I remember watching that. I think at Tokyo they had a playoff for third place.
Did they?
It might have been three-way playoff for one spot.
Yeah, it was Rory in that maybe. He could have been in that one as well, I think.
I
Yeah.
reckon
Anyway,
that's right.
local man representing France, Victor Perez, was the closest. Shot a final round 63, but he finished 4th, so couldn't quite get on the podium, but a great effort by him. Rory finished tied 5th with Rahm as well.
How much money do you win for that?
A lot of
Coming fourth.
endorsements, I'm assuming. Probably in France, he's done very well. I see they are giving some bonuses out for a lot of the athletes as well.
Do they?
Yeah, $500,000 here or there for
That's not bad.
some of them. That's not too bad. Anyway,
if you win a bronze medal, does that get you in the Masters? This is a.
I
as a
don't know.
footnote?
That's actually an interesting question.
Yeah, or well,
Yeah,
you think so?
I think if you
wouldn't
medal, you should get into all the majors next year.
I think you should
That'd
too.
be a good good exemption
Well, if
category.
you want to push it up, that's how
Yeah.
you do it.
I think a lot of the countries do pay their athletes for gold medals
Yes.
or silver or bronze medals.
Correct.
Do they?
They do.
God,
Yep.
Scottie Scheffler would laugh at the money they give him. Yes.
Best of the Aussies was Jason Day, tied for 9th, closed with 68. Got off to a hot start, but couldn't keep it going. And Minwoo Lead finished tied for 22nd. His opening round really cost him. He was coming last
He
after
shot
day
40
one.
something on the front nine.
Yeah, he shot 76 the first day, which knocked him out of it. But he came back well and played really well after that.
When the women's starts on Wednesday, right?
Starts, is it Wednesday or Thursday?
Oh, Wednesday, Paris time.
Yes, we got Hannah Green and Minji Lee representing Australia.
Minji will win it.
You think so?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be a good test from that golf course. I'd love to see the women play that. The other thing in a few weeks I'm looking forward to is the Women's British Open at St Andrews coming up.
That's
going to
be big.
That's going to be
That'll
awesome
be good.
to watch.
Anytime you can watch St Andrews is great fun.
But on the LPGA Tour, they were playing the Portland Classic, where Moria Jutanagan, the Thai golfer, ended a 6-year drought of winless 6-year drought and shot 66 the final round for a 2-shot win over 3 players, including Naren Ahn, Natalia Guseva and Angel Yin.
You know, she came out to Australia many years ago. And
Moria?
Yes.
Mhm.
And the Australian press didn't know how to pronounce her name.
Okay.
So they asked her nicely. They said, how do you pronounce that? She goes, think of a motorbike. They said, what? She goes, she actually, exactly.
Is that what she did?
Yes, that's exactly what she did. She
Okay.
did a motorbike sound.
Jutanagan.
That's it.
There you go.
There you
Anyway,
go.
so it was a great win for her. Her sister, actually, Aria, shot a final round 65 to finish tied 9th. So impressive double for the sisters there. Really good.
Nice.
And did you know she only made 1 bogey in 72 holes?
No.
And it came on the last hole.
Oh, no.
Can you believe that? She had a 3-shot lead at the time, so it didn't matter that much. But wouldn't you love to have seen her go bogey-free?
It's a great...
And my masterclass is actually going to be how she bogeyed it a bit later on.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah.
No, don't tell me now.
I won't. Okay. Of the Australians, we had Grace Kim, nice result, tied for 9th. Robin Choi tied for 39th. Gabby Ruffles tied for 52nd. And Hira Naveed tied for 60th. Corn Ferry Tour, as we mentioned, Kyle Phillips, an amazing win for him. That moves him
How
up
many
to
under was he?
25 under. He shot rounds of 67, 62, 64, 66.
What did you shoot when you played?
And he bogeyed the last two, which
Did you
is
get in the
disappointing.
20s at least?
There, I shot 6 under and missed the cut by 1.
I think you've told that
It was a
story
7
before,
under
yeah.
cut that week.
Ridiculous.
It's insane how low the cuts
It is,
are over there.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah, but he had a 2-shot win. Kyle did over Joe Weller and Matt McCarty. Of the other Aussies, we had Brad Druitt, who finished tied for 8th. He was actually 3rd going into the final round.
We saw him out here last season, didn't we? In a couple of tournaments?
I think so, yeah, a couple of times.
Over our summer?
So this is the tour for him. He shot 1 under 70, good round, but he moved back from 3rd to 8th. So
There you
it
go.
shows you how low they go over
That's
there.
it.
Curtis Luck tied for 27th and Rain Gibson tied for 36th. On the Challenge Tour, they had the Irish Challenge at the K Club.
Oh.
Course I played many times, although they were on the Palmer course, which they traditionally didn't play that course when I was over there, but I did manage to play it one year when they switched the courses. Not a great course, but it's okay. Not too bad. Unfortunately, the Aussies, they emceed, but Swedes Joachim Lagergren was in a greenside bunker, final hole, par 5, needed to get it up and down for birdie to get into a playoff.
Yeah.
Decided to make the
He made
bunker
it.
shot for eagle and a 1-shot victory, so he eagled the last to win by 1 from Frenchman Sebastien Gross. So, you know, for the French, they didn't quite get there, unfortunately, in both the Olympics and in this one.
It's big to hold a bunker shot on the last.
Pretty
to win a
impressive, isn't it?
tournament.
Yeah. On the LET Access Tour, Ladies European Tour Access Tour, they had the Smorum Ladies Open in Denmark, where England's Gemma Clues defended her title there for a 1-shot win over 2 Swedes, Anna Magnusson and Andrea Lignell. Best of the Aussies, Steph Bunk had another good week, tied for 7th, and Kelsey Bennett tied for 9th. So very good for them. They're running both inside the top 20 on the order of merit there. So
I
looking
think our
to
girls
get
are
up
flying.
onto the Ladies European Tour, they are. They're doing
Next
very well
season,
over
next
there.
season, 2025 could be year of the Australian women's golfer.
Indeed. On the Legends Tour, the PGA Seniors Championship, and I'd love for you to play this one day, Mark, because you know who it's hosted by?
No.
Colin Montgomery, your favourite player.
I might ask for an invite.
Yeah. It was at the Trump International Golf Links just north of Aberdeen, a fairly new course, not one of the old traditional links style. But Englishman Robert Coles had a one-shot win over local hope Paul Lawrie, who won, at Carnoustie back in 99. Best of the Australasians, Michael Campbell tied for 7th. Scott Henn came home like a train. It was a very tough final day. Shot like a 68. No one really shot in the 60s. He finished tied for 13th with Jason Norris as well. They were the best of the Aussies.
Still moves well, Scott Henn. His swing.
He gets it out there, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's still moving really well.
He really does. The Women's US Senior Open was on, and American Letta Lindley had twice finished runner-up the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Shot a final round 7 under 64. Incredible effort for a 53-year-old.
Did you see Joanne Carner shot her age again? They give her an invite into this every year, and she shot 83. She's 83 years
incredible,
old.
Isn't it? Yeah. It's a great... And they got a good field, too, because you had Annika playing. She finished 4th. Julie Inkster finished 6th. Just fascinating. And then this week, we've got an interesting event on the PGA Tour. We've obviously got the Olympics for the women in France, but on the PGA Tour, we've got the Wyndham Classic, which is at Greensboro, the final event of the season. Top 70 gets you into the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Yeah, it's just 70 this year, isn't it?
Just the 70, yeah.
It used to be 120.
Used to be 120. So, to give you an idea of where our Aussies stand at the moment, we've got Jason Day 23rd, Cam Davis 41st, Adam Scott 42nd, and Min Woo Lee 62nd. So they're all basically safe. They'll be in that top 70.
Are they only playing 2 in the FedEx Cup because of the shortened season? So they're still playing 3. So
they're
70,
playing the
50, 30?
St. Jude FedEx Classic, which is top 70, the BMW Championship, top 50, and then the Tour Championship, top 30. Yeah. So the players outside who need to get a move on is Ryan Fox is 102nd,
wow.
Aaron Badley's 153rd, and Harrison Endicott 195. So hopefully they're in the tournament and they basically need a win, yeah. And that's this week's Ping Global results.
Last week, you were talking about the rumour you heard from a very good source, Mark.
In fact, it's not a rumour, it's fact.
Okay, fact.
Yeah.
You want to repeat the fact?
Well, the fact was that the head of the PIF...
Yasser Al-Rumayyan.
Thank you for that pronunciation. Wants to be Jay Monahan, and that is the number one stumbling block for the PGA Tour and a LIV to amalgamate.
And your source is, as you described it, impeccable.
Impeccable.
Lots of feedback, far too much to read out, but a few select choices here. This is from Keith. This info came from a LIV player. Rubbish. Means it has zero merit. They simply keep throwing out false narratives with no facts to support this. Propaganda is all that's keeping LIV afloat.
I disagree with you, Keith.
Geez, Keith didn't miss, did he? Boy.
No.
How'd it go?
Has he got all his teeth, Keith?
You want to sort of knock off criticising our listeners?
Okay. I apologise,
You
Keith.
will put our podcast licence at risk.
I hope you've got a full mouth of teeth.
Richard has said, LIV is probably the smallest and least important project that Yasser Al-Rumayyan runs. He's the governor of PIF. LIV is a small part of that. So the notion that he would forego that to become a golf executive, I don't think so, Mark. A chairman-type role, maybe, but he wouldn't become Jay Monahan.
He wants to become Jay Monahan.
Tully Ost has said, that is ridiculous. It's never happening. Why has it just come out now? I reckon LIV don't even want the merger.
No, they do. Big time.
I don't know. I read something about the US Justice Department might have something to say about it if he does.
Oh,
so.
Hang on. We've got someone who's mentioned that
really?
exact thing.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a sec. Daz has said, this is a good move. Anything to piss off the Americans who reckon they own the game of golf.
I agree. I never said it was going to happen. I think he should be very much on the board when you are pushing across that much coin. But no, you can't be in a position of control, whether you're the chairman of the board or the CEO of the PGA Tour. You can't have that spot.
Graham likes the idea. This is brilliant. Let's get the best back playing in the big events. It'd be great to see someone take Jay's place as long as they are there for the players and for the game. And Dan has said, and this is to your point, Nick, Dan has said, I'm a lawyer's kid who went to law school and I understand how the US Department of Justice works. He's an American, this guy, by the way.
Okay.
Yasser won't be allowed to run a US corporation because he's a top-level agent for a foreign sovereign. It's pretty simple. Australians seem to miss this point, but us Americans don't.
Okay.
What's his name?
Dan Bull.
Thank
Can
you
we
for
get
clarifying.
Dan Bull on our staff just for these technicalities
Legal,
that we need to be across?
We need some legal help.
Dan, we'll be in contact.
Love it.
He's a US lawyer. The laws might be slightly different in America.
Well, we definitely need a US lawyer on the books.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Especially with your sources.
So lots of mixed feedback. And it'd be fair to say a lot of it was saying they don't see that's going to happen. And look, it is very hard to see it happening.
Yeah, well, neither Nick or I think that will happen. There's just no way the American players would let that happen.
No.
Just in case.
On a lighter note, we were talking about sequels last week, and someone, I don't know, it was one of you guys, mentioned that the Happy Gilmore sequel might be an example of the longest time between sequels. Andrew had another one, Top Gun. Top Gun Maverick was released last year, 37 years after the original.
It was a great sequel.
Yes,
too.
that's right.
My girls watched that and they loved it.
Righto. Well, not many people know this, but The Colour of Money, which was a Tom Cruise movie, was actually the sequel to The Hustler. So Fast Eddie Felson was in The Hustler. And that was Paul Newman, that's right. So that was a sequel. I think that's the record holder.
Okay.
How long would that be?
I'll do my homework right now.
Okay.
You continue.
That would be helpful. Top Gun Maverick was great, though.
Was
Did
good.
you see it on the big screen?
No, unfortunately. It would have been good. I would love to see that big screen moment when at the start he's got that fighter jet or whatever which takes over the little hut and you got Ed Harris just getting blown away.
Yeah. There's some movies I reckon you've got to see the big screen. I think Top Gun Maverick was one of them.
The Hustler was 1961. I'm just looking up The Colour of Money now.
Must have been in the 90s or the 80s.
It was Tom Cruise, so it'd be...
The Colour of Money movie.
Thinking late 80s.
Well...
Colour of Money, 1986.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
it's 35. So it was beaten by Top Gun.
25.
What are you talking about?
25. Oh, yeah, 25. So it's,
25
hang on, it's
years.
beaten by Top Gun and Happy Gilmore.
There you go.
You have talked a big game and you have fallen over. You're a hurdler in the Olympics who've just tripped over a hurdle, Mark.
Can I get a hold of that American lawyer again, please?
I think we need to go for 1 week of top 5 misquotes from Mark.
Yeah. Now, pumping up your tyres here, though, is Ross. I watched the Trevino doco, Marco.
How good.
I loved it.
Yep.
Golf needs more personalities like Trevino.
I wonder if he teared up like I did. I got a bit teary.
Just reminded me to watch that. I still haven't watched it.
What are you doing,
I
Nick?
know.
It's
I
very
meant to watch it
important
the other
that you
night.
watch that show.
I will.
Now, we've got a message here from Andrew, and Andrew's got 4 points to make. This is a longer email, but I think they're all actually quite interesting.
Okay.
All right.
Hello, Nick, Mark, and Third Man. I hope you are well. I love the podcast. Couple of things. Regarding the discussion on whether pros should play in club comps, I think they absolutely should, and I agree the handicap system allows for this, but maybe the pros should be excluded from prizes as they are clearly superior to the average club member regarding accuracy and hitting close to pins, although surely that's exactly what the handicap system does.
What about old pros who don't get golf balls anymore? You know, it's always handy getting a couple.
That's true.
It's true.
Oh, do you suffer from that?
No,
I
I'm
don't
lucky.
think so. You're
I'm
a
lucky.
tightless guy.
I'm a tightless guy, yeah.
As am I.
Andrew goes on to say, I can't believe Steve Elkington did not make the cut in the top 5 Aussies since 1980. A PGA and 2 Players Championships, that places him in front of Jason Day in my view.
Yeah, but not in front of Minjee Lee or Kari Webb or David Graham.
We didn't say
Or
them.
Greg Norman.
He said Jason Day. He didn't say
Or
those
Peter
guys.
Thompson. Oh, Peter Thompson's not from the 80s.
Jason Day, he world number 1 for quite a period, won a lot of golf tournaments.
Majors, Players, Championships.
Players, major.
Andrew goes on to say, given the Olympics is topical right now, my question relates to Brisbane 2032. Holy hell. Looking 8 years down the track.
What
Jeez.
course are they going to play?
What course
RQ.
should be used to host the golf event? Surely we can't just default to Royal Queensland. What would another option be?
Another option.
I'm sick of watching it. Oh, well, not sick of watching it at RQ, but I'd like something different. You know, change is good on the holiday. So don't take that personally, anyone from Royal Queensland, but yeah, I think they've got some terrific courses.
Take them up to Coolum. That'd be a good option.
So yeah, they've
The
got
Village Square at night.
Well, they got the Grand up there. I'll tell you what. Let's bow to our Queensland listener and Queenslanders. What's another option for Olympic golf in 2032 that will look amazing on camera and send out a beautiful picture to attract people from all around the world to come and visit Queensland?
Well, you probably got to go Gold Coast or Sunshine Coast, something like that. But out of interest, I've never played the Brisbane Golf Club. What's that like?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's had a redo. I played a long time ago in the 80s.
Royal Pines?
Royal Pines is a very good golf course. Yeah, I played there
Beautiful.
recently. It's good for up there.
Yeah, I never played well there, so I hate it. But it's a great spot, yeah.
I remember we had the first tournament there ever, and it was the Coca-Cola Classic. And it was billed as it's the toughest golf course in Australia.
Really?
You know, they thought that Overpar was going to win. It was a 2 undercut
Oh, really?
for back then. And
Right.
I think Roger Davis shot like 20-something under par.
Oh, gosh, okay.
Yeah, so they got it wrong.
Final comment from Andrew. A shout out to Nick, who I played with in a Holden Scramble national final in the early 2000s.
Wow.
When a touring pro was allocated to join each amateur team in the final round. It was a great experience, and Nick was fantastic to play with. I'm a lefty also. Our team was the runner-up. I have a great photo of the team with Nick, and this is that photo, guys.
I
Let's have
saw
a
the
look.
photo.
See that?
Oh, yeah. Brilliant. Gee, those pants I was wearing, they were nice and baggy, weren't they? The pleats, love it.
The plates were big there
Look
for
at
a
that
little while.
stylish mob.
We'll put that photo on
Put
socials.
it up, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
looking good there, Nicky.
Yeah, I'm a little slimmer though.
You're going well.
I was probably in my heyday back then, early 2000s as well.
Look at the power in those forearms. Look at that.
I'm thinking that might have been up at Twin Waters.
Yeah,
No,
that's Twin Waters.
Twin Waters is
it
another
yeah,
spot.
It's
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Watch My Numbers app, it's time for the masterclass. Play smarter, use your data. You can download it from the App Store or Google Play.
And look out for the bonus pod this week because we're going to be talking to Frank and also Aidan. Frank is the man who delivered Watch My Numbers, so he'll tell you more about it. And Aidan is a young pro who's just back from America who uses it to better his golf.
We'll do that later in the week.
Yeah, we sure will. Golf has many ways of measuring ability and performance. But at the end of the day, it's all about the numbers. And that's where Watch My Numbers can really help. With the Watch My Numbers app, the numbers don't lie. The data you enter during or after your round builds an excellent picture of your golf game. Any golf coach worth their fees will be able to use the data to quickly and easily assess your game and work out some practice drills that will really start to lower your scores. If you love working on your golf game, you'll love the Watch My Numbers app. Time for this week's masterclass.
All right, this masterclass is about how Moria Jutanagan. There you go. I got it right the third time, yeah. How she played the final hole. Basically, she hadn't made a bogey all week. Went 71 holes. She had a 3-shot lead, so it wasn't a big deal, but she hit a second shot over the back
Is it par 5?
of the green. It's a par 4.
Right.
And they had this little sticky rough, a little bit over the back. She was probably 2 or 3 feet into the rough. And this is a shot that I love to play out of there. I love to play the old belly wedge. You played that a bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
The belly wedge is a great shot to have in the bag. Now, she brought out the putter, and the putter got stuck.
Doesn't work.
So you can use the putter in certain instances. It depends on how thick and how sticky that little first cut of rough is. The other option is to use a hybrid or a fairway wood, which is fine, but sometimes that gets stuck as well. But the bellied wedge, which is basically taking your most lofted wedge, the sand iron, the lob wedge, and what you want to do is you want to set up to it like a putting stroke, and you want to hit halfway up the ball. The ball's going to be sitting halfway, probably above the grass anyway, so you just aim for just slightly above the grass. And what it does, if the sand iron or the leading edge goes through the grass, it just knifes through it beautifully. It does not get stuck. It puts a nice bit of topspin on the ball, and it gets it rolling really, really well. So she used the putter. Unfortunately, it got stuck in the grass, and she left it about 6 foot short, missed the putt. And she made her first bogey of the week, which is unfortunate. I think if she'd have gone with the bellied wedge, she would have parred the last hole and probably set a tour record for no bogeys. I'm not sure if there's a record there, but who knows. So I'm going to post that on socials later, how to play the bellied wedge. A lot of people don't do it because they think it's too hard, but it's actually not. Just
It's easier than you think.
a little bit of practice. And even if you mishit it slightly, I guarantee it still pops out nicely out of the rough.
I had somebody, I was playing in a group with an amateur years and years ago, and they thought they were going to do a belly wedge style, but they did it with the wedge.
Oh,
and
right.
Of course,
okay.
it just doesn't have the gravitas at the bottom of the club to actually get any meat on the roll.
So you want the sand wedge or the lob wedge where you got a heavy sole and a bit of bounce to it. And, just set up to it like a putting style. Use your putting grip as well. That's what a lot of people do. And it just gets that ball rolling beautifully out of that first cut of rough. If you're going to do it in thick rough, well, I'm not sure about that. And then you got to go and dig it out a bit. But belly wedge, very handy shot to have. And also if you're up against the cushion. on the fringe of the green where you
Yeah.
got the grass and you're actually on the short grass, but you got the rough behind you. Great shot to play.
What happened? How'd she hit it over the back? Was she pumped up or was it out of the rough to get a flyer?
Yeah, you had water short, so long's the play. And she was only 25 feet from the hole, so 3-shot lead, you're going to go long all day.
Yep.
It was disappointing, though.
Before we go, gold medal in the Olympics in the women's golf. Who wins?
Yeah, Minge. Mingy Lee's going to win it.
I'll say Hannah Green then.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Glad you said.
All right.
And thanks for listening to Talk Birdie to me. We appreciate you listening and getting involved. And a huge thanks to our fantastic partners. Without them, the show just wouldn't be the same. Watch my numbers. Download the app and turn your bogeys into birdies by analysing and improving your game like never before. The Golf Clearance Outlet. Awesome prices on great gear. You can see them in Melbourne, Sydney, Brizzy, Perth, and online at golfclearanceoutlet.com.au. And Ping. See your local golf shop or professional to arrange a Ping Club fitting. They'll help you play your best. If Ping's good enough for Nick O'Hearn, well, that says it all. And we'd love you to get involved with the show. You can leave a voicemail with any comments or questions at talkbirdietome.com.au or send an email or comment on the socials. And if you can share the pod with a friend, well, we'd love that. Talk Birdie to me's executive producer is Dan Bradley at Kaizen Media. Sound design, Daryl Misson at loudzebra.com.
Yeah, I love my golf. So much fun. Hang on, just give me a sec. All right, boys, feeling good about this one? Okay, well, not every shot's an ace, but my game's improved out of sight since I went to the Golf Clearance Outlet. They've got the biggest brands, TaylorMade, Titleist, FootJoy, Callaway, and more. And their prices, well, they beat everyone. Check them out in store or online at golfclearanceoutlet.com.au.